This is my Chunkman account. With a mere chunk in his possession and a dream in his heart, he began his quest to conquer the vast expanse of old-school RuneScape's landmass. He started his journey from humble beginnings in Lumbridge, but with an arsenal of custom tasks, he has faced and overcome countless challenges. His journey has taken him through the trials of total level grinding, epic quests, mysterious clues, and perilous encounters with fearsome bosses, all in order to unlock new chunks of land. Now halfway through the journey, the road ahead may be paved with even greater challenges, but with each obstacle overcome, he moves closer to his goal. So welcome to the second half of Chunkman DDK. Last episode we added 3 chunks to our map. The first chunk was unlocked by completing the Karamja Medium Diary, the next was for killing Vettian for the first time, and lastly we completed another 5 combat achievement tasks for a total of 65 completed in total. Our map expanded with Waterbird Island, a part of the ice pod for Desert Treasure, and lastly we unlocked Jiggig. We start this episode by using the newest chunk in our arsenal. I just checked and we should now be able to do Zogre Flesh Eaters. First of all, to get to the quest start we need to unlock our newest chunk of course, so that's that. And now we can talk to Grish here, one of the ogres, to see what's happening here. Grish the ogre is a friend of the Zogres or zombie ogres. They are quite sick and they have risen above ground now. Grish is wondering why, but he doesn't want to get in because he could get sick because of it. He wants us to investigate and gave us some cooked champi and some super restore to actually get in and not die with the sickness. We're not really sure what the sickness is, so let's go in and let's see what we can find in there. First of all, we need to get in, of course. There we can see Skogers, Zogers, so skeleton ogres, zombie ogres, and there's quite a lot of them. And this barricade is holding them back. But as we need to get in, let's talk to the ogre guard. There we go. A bit of a crude method of destroying the barricade, but okay, now we can get in. With this, we now unlock another hard clue step. I think this one requires a heraldic helm, which we currently don't have, I think. But in the future, if we do some more hard clues and get that helm, that will be a help, of course, in doing our hard clues. But for now, let's continue on into the burial grounds. It seems as there are some coffins here. At one part of the burial ground, we can also see some Zogres. But what we also can see is a charred surface together with a skeleton, which seems to have been scorched by an explosion or something. So let's investigate the skeleton. Okay, we get a zombie. Ooh, and there we have a new status ailment. We don't have anything capable of curing your disease. Well, there goes our fletching level -10. That doesn't bode well. But we did get a ruined backpack from killing that guy. Let's see what's in there. Okay, so we found a dragon in tankard. Very special. Some rotten food and a knife. Let's continue the investigation. We have the lectern here as well. We find a torn page. Let's read it. Well, that's not good. It seems to be half a page of a spell that places a curse on an area for raising the dead. So I guess we now know why all of these Zogres and Skogers are around here. Also on that page we can find the guild emblem. So maybe the magic guild has something to do with this. Let's continue. This is part of the scorched area, so let's search the ogre coffin as well. We found a hole in the coffin, but we need to see if the thing that was shoved in is still there, so let's do some grave robbing. It's a big lid, but we're strong enough to actually open it. Let's see what's inside. A black prism. Everything seems to point to Yanil, as the Dragon Inn is in Yanil and a magic spell, so let's have a visit there. Maybe let's go to Ferox Enclave first. to cure the disease first. Let's talk to the head mage in the Magic Guild, Zavistic Rarv, and let's see if he can help us. The head mage says it's very much forbidden for all wizards to use necromantic magic. They can, however, investigate it. There's currently only one wizard investigating it, and that is Sithic, and he is currently sick and can't leave the house, so we will have to go to him. Sithic seems to have a very big interest into the dark art, into necromancy, but he says he doesn't know anything about the Zogers. We don't really believe him, so let's just look around in his house. He doesn't want us to, but bad luck for him, he is sick in the bed, so we can just do whatever we want. We found 3 books, a piece of charcoal and some papyrus. The first book is a book of Ham, so the humans against monsters. So he does seem to be a creature hater, so anything that isn't human. There's also a necromancy book where we noticed there was one page missing half a page. So maybe the torn page we have here is what it is missing. And then we have a book of portraiture, which is a kind of a weird find. But maybe it's a good idea to see if Grish remembers the mage here. So maybe we can make a portrait with this book. Before we go back with the portrait, we still have the tankard from the Dragon Inn. So let's see if the bartender actually knows anything about this tankard and who is the owner. Well, guess we now know the guy is named Brentel Van. That's probably the name of the skeleton we found. He was talking to a mage not so long ago, according to the bartender. So let's use the portrait on him to see if he recognizes Sithic as the wizard he was talking to. And yes, apparently it was. We just got confirmation that Sithic does have something to do with this. As Sithic seems to be involved with all of this shady stuff, the head mage should also know about this. After giving all of the evidence to Zavistic Rarv, he does suspect something is wrong here. He gave us a potion, and apparently this will do something to Sithic that will make him tell the truth. He doesn't want to take it, because why would you trust somebody who has ransacked your house? But there's a cup of tea here, so let's just pour it in his tea instead. Let's leave so he can drink the tea and then we can come back. Oh boy. The potion really did its job. He looks really weird now. Well, that potion really did make him tell the truth. He immediately admits that he was the one behind that Zoger issue. The effects of the spell are permanent, so that's already a very bad start. The only way to actually get rid of the creatures is to kill them and then make sure there is some kind of barrier so they don't return. And the only way to actually kill them, as normal arrows are meant to damage internal organs, we need to make special arrows, very large arrows like we used for the jumpy hunting, but instead of an arrowhead we need to use nails. And then the last thing he showed us is how to actually get rid of the disease, how to make a potion, and apparently there's 2 herbs we can use for that potion, and both of them can be found on Karamja, just like we did in the Jungle Potion quest. Rish has given us a key to the lower part of the burial site, where we need to clear out all of the Zogers and make sure that that area is then clear forever. So that's going to be our job. Alright, this seems like a good location. Let's search this stand over here. And oh, there we get Slash Bash. We're not gonna use brutal arrows. We just have Crumble Undead, which should work perfectly as they are zombies anyway. And there we go, that's Slash Bash down. And giving the Ogre artifact to Grish, which is apparently going to use the artifact to make a new place, a new burial ground for the Ogres, as this one is pretty much tainted with the curse. For completing the quest, we get 1 quest point, 2000 range XP, 2000 fletching and herblore XP. We can make Relison's Balm, which is the potion we can make with the herbs from Karamja to heal from the disease. And we have now the ability to make brutal arrows. We now have 150 total quest points, so we have finally unlocked our third block slot for Slayer, which is amazing. But either way, another quest completed, Zoger Flesh Eaters. Let's go back to our spreadsheet, let's complete it over there. And then let's see which is going to be our next chunk. Another quest down. We are getting a lot more quests lately. And this is already our 87th quest completed, Zoger Flesh Eaters. And that now brings us up to 283 landmass chunks in total. And then back to our map. The last chunk was of course Jigig that we unlocked, which unlocked the Zoger Flesh Eaters quest. It now unlocks another part of the Veldeb Hills, which doesn't have much in it, so let's hope we don't get that one. And then we also have the chunk with the Smoked Devil entrance, which is a good chunk all in all if we get the Slayer level, but in general we are pretty far away from that level, so let's see what the chunk picker is going to give us. Let's pick a chunk. Oh boy, we are really getting into Terranwin, almost at the end of the map. But oh boy, we get the Ironward camp, which is necessary for the quest, which is a good thing. But in general, as long as we don't unlock the chunk just below the fishing guild, we do not really have any business going out here. Even though we did not get a decent chunk that we are able to use right now, we did get a lot of things because of the Jigig chunk. Next to being able to complete Zoger Flesh Eaters, we can now do the next one in line, and that's Rumdeal on the Mauritanian continent, and this was the only requirement we needed. We just needed the quest start Zoger Flesh Eaters, and all of the rest is actually in an instance outside of the normal map. So let's talk to Pirate Pete, which we have saved in the subquest of Recipe for Disaster, and see what he needs. Pirate Pete says he has been ousted from his house as he is a nobleman, but his half-brother took over the house, and the only way for him to actually get back to his position as the ruler of the house is to get the family heirloom, a sword, back to prove that he is the one and true heir. So let's start the Rumdeal quest. He will explain us how we need to get to that sword. Pete mentions that one of the things that is holding him back from getting the sword is that his half-brother commands a very powerful demon called Barrelor, and he wants us to go and kill it. So let's of course go there, as we do not fear demons. This is starting to be a very weird conversation. Pete already says the family has no more money because the half-brother has actually spent it all, and he has a lot of children. So, okay, we don't need the money then. And he knocks us over the head to go somewhere. While we were unconscious, Pirate Pete was talking to the Captain Braindead that we are pretty gullible in believing a sob story, and that we should be the perfect person to help them. So this does not bode well. And now we are on Braindead Island, which is actually, like you see, just 2 chunks, which are already unlocked because there's not actually anything over here. It's not connected to the mainland as well, because this is a secret island. But let's see what the actual story is. Let's talk to Captain Braindead to see what they actually need. The place we are in is actually a brewery where they brew rum, and they distribute it with the captain here to all over the world. But they have hit a snag here. Outside we can see that there are a lot of zombie protesters, and these guys are actually preventing them from brewing any more rum. The plan from the captain is actually to make their captain of the zombies as drunk as possible so they can escape in the confusion, I guess. Their captain is probably Captain Donnie here. If we want to get him as drunk as possible, we need to actually make rum. One of the ingredients of rum is blind weed. So you can see all of these patches where they actually were able to make blind weed were actually trashed by all of the zombies. So there's one left. Let's plant the seed over there. And now while the zombies are looking at us and annoying us, we'll have to wait 5 minutes for the blind weed to grow. Okay, fun part of the quest, I guess. And finally, after a quite long wait, we finally can pick the blind weed. Not most fun part of the quest if you just have to wait around with these zombies actually trying to kill us. But I did have a talk to Captain Donnie, and if we ask to join his crew, he actually mentions that we would need to die for us to be able to join him, as we need to be zombies. But there was some kind of talk about a boss that would actually bring us back to life. So something strange is going on there. But either way, let's continue with the quest. We have some blind weed. Blind weed goes into one of the hoppers here. Next up, we got a bucket to get some stagnant water. Does not seem like a good ingredient for rum, but we can find it at the north part of the island. If we want to actually get out to the mountain, this zombie, 50% Luke, as he probably only has 50% of his face, doesn't actually let us go through. Just saying something was behind him made him turn around and we got through the gate. One mountain or volcano for a bucket of stagnant water. Into the same hopper it goes. The next ingredient is sluglings, which does not sound good at all because these are related to the slugs from the Slug Menace quest, which are actually mind controlling things. This rum really doesn't sound good. Into the pressurizer they go. And now let's pressurize them into the drink. This rum making is really cursed, literally, as we have gotten a wrench. We need to make it holy and then vanquish some spirits from the brewing process. Let's talk to Davey, as this guy here had some priest knowledge, so he can actually make the wrench holy. A holy wrench obtained, and this is actually a very useful item, as our prayer potions will now give us a little bit more prayer points per sip. But either way, back to the quest. The spirits, or I guess this is a joke on alcohol being spirits of some kind. Let's use our wrench on it to free it from the spirits. And there we have an evil spirit. There we go. Let's put up our prayers. This shouldn't take long. Okay, pretty easy for a level, what was that, 120, 150? And then for the last weird ingredient, we need the corpse of a fever spider. First one, and we already get it, so that's really easy. Back to the hopper to actually use it there, and that should be the end of the rum making process. The rum is ready. Time to actually use our bucket on the tap to get a bucket of rum, but it's called unsanitary swill. Let's go and feed that to Captain Donnie. Now that we gave Captain Donnie the rum, we were actually interrogating him a little bit, and he let slip that rabbit Jack, his boss, is actually the one that sent him here to get the rum and more likely to sabotage this rum making facility. And with that rum, Captain Donnie is going away, so the zombies will not stay either. So these guys can just keep on making rum in here instead of going away to another facility. With that news delivered to the captain, we have completed the rum deal for 2 quest points, 7,000 prayer, fishing and farming experience, and of course the holy wrench. A bit of a weird quest, but a quest nonetheless. We have completed the rum deal quest, so that is a task completed. Let's go back to our spreadsheet, let's complete it over there, and let's pick another chunk. Before we actually complete the quest on our dashboard, there have been a couple of updates which actually affect our account. One update was that the mini quest His Faithful Servants was added, which makes the Barrows chunk even more juicier than it already is, because this is pretty much, together with the 1kc Barrows, a guaranteed completion as well. So that will be 2 chunks in one go if we will be able to get to the Barrows chunk. So that was one thing. And the other thing is that there was actually landmass added to the map with the update of Bounty Hunter. So if we go to the map, we can see here there are actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 chunks added for a new total of 536 chunks we need to get. This landmass isn't actually that useful for us, as we will probably never do some Bounty Hunter. So for this part it will not be that useful, but it is landmass anyway, so we will have to unlock it. Back to our spreadsheet then to actually complete our quest. We have completed a rum deal. That was our 88th quest. Now you can see we have one mini quest more. And we are now at 284 landmass chunks unlocked out of 536. And then back to our map. As you can see, they actually added a new row of tiles to actually be able to fit the bounty hunter area. So I'm already going to unlock all of the water chunks because those aren't that important. But for the rest, we will be able to unlock the entire landmass here. So that's 7 new chunks we can unlock, which aren't actually going to help us, which is kind of annoying. But it is what it is, I guess. Let's just hope we don't roll any of these, I guess. But if we go back to what we got last time, we got the Ironwood camp chunk, which now unlocks the Tyrus camp, which will be useful in the future, a part of the woods, and a part of Privdinus. So also not the best choices of chunks. Then it is time. Let's see which chunk we are going to get. Let's pick a chunk. Ooh. Oh! Oh! That is actually amazing. We keep rolling good chunks. The Trollheim chunk will now make us able to do the Troll Stronghold quest, or actually finish it as we already started it. But that's actually amazing. That's definitely one quest we will be able to do. I'm not really sure for the follow-up quests, but it also makes sure that we are very close to the God Wars dungeon. Only one more chunk. And we can actually try to do the 5 bosses in here. Not really sure if we could actually do them, but having them open to a possibility is actually really nice. So Trollheim is a very, very, very good chunk. I'm really happy with that. Although we can now do the Troll Stronghold quest, we are not done with the quests after unlocking Jigig. So after Zoger Flesh Eaters we were able to do Rumdeal, and after Rumdeal we are now able to do Cabin Fever. So to start the quest we are here in Port Phasmatis, and let's talk to Bilteach in the pub. Bilteach is the captain of the Adventurous, a ship, and he got in a fight with another ship's captain, and that captain vowed to actually destroy the ship as soon as they saw it. The crew of Bilteach did not take that kindly, and they just deserted him. So he is now all alone, and he is looking for a person, another pirate, to actually help him man the ship to get back to mostly harmless. As we are an adventurer and we pretty much help everyone we come across, we will of course do this for him. We can find his ship on the eastern side of the port, so let's get on it and let's see what we actually need to do to defend us after we set sail. We are underway and we immediately get attacked, so we will have to see if we can keep the ship floating. Our cannons are down, so we cannot really fire back, so that's very big pity. First things first, before we can fix the ship, we actually need to make sure their cannons aren't firing anymore. So we will have to enter their ship, and with some rope and the tinderbox, we will be able to blow it up. I would say there we go, but we fell into the water and we immediately get attacked by some pirates, which is understandable if you enter their ship. Let's make use of their powder to actually dip our fuse into, and then let's make sure we blow it up right next to the cannon, so that's perfect to actually destroy it. And there we go, that's one cannon broken. We don't need to do the other one as it's pointed in the other direction. So now it's time to go back and fix our ship again. To fix the holes, we need some repair planks we found in the chests. Then tack them down with these tacks and then use some swamp paste on it to actually waterproof the ship. All fixed up. Because they dared to attack us, it's now time to retaliate. With their cannons disabled, we will enter their ship and just plunder their ship, bring back the loot, and then sail off. Back on their ship, let's go down into the hull, and then let's start plundering their ship. We currently have 6, that's not enough. It says to hop worlds, so these things actually respawn, but I'm just going to wait. Let's kill some pirates in the meantime. Kind of a weird part in the quest if you actually have to wait until things respawn. Would have been a bit better to just make sure that we could plunder the exact amount we need. Okay, now we have enough. Took longer than expected, but okay. Let's go back up and let's put our plunder into our own ship. All of the plunder in our plunder storage, that should be enough. And now, are we going to escape or are we going to try to sink the ship? We are actually going to repair the cannon. First of all, we need to replace the cannon barrel. So let's do that. There we go. Easily fixed. Time to fire the cannon, but we need to do it in the correct way, of course. So first of all, the gunpowder. Then shove that in with the ramrod. Put in a canister of shrapnel. Put a fuse on the cannon, and then light the fuse to actually fire the cannon. There we go, that's one hit. We're done with the little things, with the canisters of shrapnel. Let's now do the real work with cannonballs. Let's first of all clean the cannon, put in some more gunpowder. Same thing like we did before, but instead of a canister, then we put in a cannonball and fire away. That's 2 hits. One more time for good measure. And there goes the 3rd hit. The ship is going to the bottom of the sea, so we can now just go to mostly harmless. And that's the end of the quest. We get 2 quest points, 7000 smithing, crafting and agility experience, and the little book of piracy to make sure that we can actually trade with the people over here on Mostly Harmless. I'm extremely happy that we finally can traverse the entire island we have unlocked quite a while ago now. And one of the big things here, next to the trouble brewing of course, is that we now can go into the Mostly Harmless cave, which will have cave horrors and the black mask with that. So this is a very big unlock for the account, just because we unlock the entire island here. But let's first of all, before we do anything else, let's complete the quest as well on our spreadsheet. Let's pick another chunk, and then we can see what we are going to do next. Unlocking Jigig was a very good chunk, as this is now the 3rd quest we have done because of unlocking it. We have completed Cabin Fever, that was our 89th quest now already, and our 285th chunk unlocked. And then back to our map. The last chunk we unlocked was of course the Trollheim chunk, which is probably the next quest we are going to do to unlock the Troll Stronghold. Pretty much everything around it was already unlocked or unlockable, so this chunk did not change much in terms of the map. So let's see which is going to be the next chunk we are going to unlock. We still have a lot of things we can do, so I wouldn't really mind rolling a dead chunk right now. But let's keep it going, I guess. We have been unlocking an absurd amount of good chunks, so let's see what it's going to be. Let's pick a chunk. Okay. We get a part of the crater of Bounty Hunter, which is perfectly fine. We knew it was going to have to be unlocked eventually. And like I mentioned, we still have a lot of things we can do, so I'm perfectly fine with unlocking this chunk for now. We still have 8 of these left, which might become an issue more in the future if we don't have as much things to do, but for now this is fine, and let's get on with the next quest. Here we're going to pause the questing for today. We only needed 1 chunk to unlock 3 new ones, so you can really see that some chunks are way more important than others. The Jiggig chunk really sorted us out, and now with the Trollheim chunk we might have the same thing. Let's figure that out next episode. So have a good one and see you then.